is this?
You guys ask me that every time, and I'm telling you, I don't know. I literally just found it on YouTube.
I was gonna say we've been through this.
Oh, I didn't know that. Send the YouTube link.
Oh, I'll have to find it again because I downloaded it.
Oh.
Okay. So, where we left off, Professor LaFay has just given a lesson about the mortal divisions of the Fae, about the Unseelie Court and the Seelie Court. Was that too loud of music or no?
Nope.
Perfect. Okay. So, just as she kind of lets you guys all begin your lessons and practice the dowsing spell, there's a knock at the back door of the classroom. Professor LaFay, she gets up from her desk and she walks over, and she opens the door and she goes, "Oh, Headmistress." And are we sure like it's not too loud?
Maybe it's a little
fine
hot.
for me.
Might be a smidge hot.
I'm gonna just turn it down a smidgen, a bushel and a peck. Okay. Hopefully this will sound a little better. Better? Okay. Well, for now. So, she goes back to the door and she goes, "Oh, Headmistress." And you see Headmistress Avis in a beautiful robes of purples and fuchsias and just this gorgeous, gorgeous look. Her hair is all coiffed and perfect, the witch's hat on top. And she says, "Yes, I do apologize for the interruption, Professor LaFay. However, it is necessary that I see these following students." "Oh, of course. Miss Fade, Miss Phoenix, Miss Rose, Miss Alvarez, and Miss Tide. If I could see you in the hallway, please."
What's her name?
Maeve,
Mars? Sorry.
as she stands up, she looks around at everybody and she looks at her friends with like wide eyes, and she gathers up her books just in case, and she walks to Mistress Avis.
Maricela gives a wary look as well, gets her things, and quietly walks out the room.
Higgins?
Ingrid will stand up. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Ingrid will stand up and kind of like mumble, like, "I told y'all it was a bad idea," and I told y'all it was a bad idea to say anything, as she like picks up her book and walks out.
Cadence will leave her stuff and hop off the chair and just kind of give Ingrid a shrug. We don't know what she wants. Just don't act weird.
She'll like roll her eyes.
And then Elzie will get up and follow them all out the door.
See you around the corner in the hall, and Headmistress Avis kind of takes them a little way out of earshot of the classroom before closing the door, and she says, "It has come to my attention that there has been interesting happenings around the six of you." And you kind of look around and you realize that Evelyn is standing next to you as she comes from around the corner. "I have reports from Professor Kern that there were some serious ongoings around the school, and his letter of expulsion for you, Miss Rose, has been turned into my office. Upon further review, I have accepted not to expel you, as it is only the 3rd day of this term, but I do expect your act to get together. You will respect your professors. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, unfortunately, we have had to search your dormitory in search of this creature that attacked you on the 1st day. All of your belongings have been searched, and thankfully, nothing has come up dark or evil. Except this. And she pulls out the Black Vane book. Miss Vane, this was found under your pillow. Do you care to explain what this is?
Yes, it was found in the library, and since it had my last name on it, I was looking into it.
There is serious dark magic acquainted with the book, and upon further investigation, I will have to confiscate it.
Of course, I am terribly sorry.
It is all right. Now, for 2 weeks, we will be rewarding your rooms and improving the enchantments. So I've had to rehome you for the time being. Miss Beauclair, she has welcomed you into her royal suite for you to stay with her for 2 weeks until we can finally up the enchantments on the dormitories. She has graciously welcomed you into the suite with no questions asked. And Evie, smiles sweetly. She's like, yes, Professor, of course. I would want to make sure that my classmates get a proper education while here at Wakefield. And the disturbance of the residence quarters is quite alarming. I'd be happy to have them in my suite, as there's no one else in the royal suite with me. There's plenty of rooms and beds for you all.
Oh, thank you so much, Princess Evie. And she kind of bows and curtsies a little bit and bashfully hides behind whoever's next to her again.
It's very kind of you and gracious.
Of course. If I'm to be queen one day, I must be for the people. All the people, including the rabble and the peasants. And she looks at Cadence and then looks back away. Headmistress, I will be glad to show them to the dormitory later this evening after our lessons. But if you don't mind, I have an apple to return to Professor Kern. He's very excited for our next lesson later this afternoon. It was so nice meeting you all. I can't wait to be the best of roommates.
I can't wait either. And good luck with your apple.
She turns on her heels and clasps her hand behind her back and just casually, cutesily walks away down the halls before meeting up with some of her other friends. And she looks at you all and she says, and also one last thing before I let you return to your lessons today. Miss Fade has unfortunately decided to withdraw from Wakefield.
What? Why?
Yes. Due to the ongoing pressures and dark things that have happened and acquainted with her, she has decided to take the semester off and return for the following term.
Okay, she's not hurt. She's... Okay. Do you have an address you can write to her?
Unfortunately, she will have to reach out to you, as it is not my information to give about where her current residence is.
Yeah, of
She
course.
was quite worried for you all, but she says that the pressures of schooling and the darkness that surrounds the outer world is too much for her.
Oh.
She
Okay.
did, however, leave one thing behind for me to give to you, and she pulls out from her side a letter addressed to you all. You may read it on your own terms. Now, if there's anything else that I can do for you, please let me know.
Thank you.
Now, I have a school to run. Off to your lessons. Don't be late.
Mara's gonna look at Cadence, be like, are you going to behave?
Why are you asking me that?
I don't know. I'm just making sure.
I'm not
Sorry,
gonna
that's very
not.
foul.
I'm not gonna not behave, but I don't want to room with Evie. I don't
I
trust
mean-
her for a second.
You kind of. I'm not saying you specifically, because everyone else voted it was fine. But kind of put ourselves in this spot.
I
If we
still.
wouldn't have said anything, we wouldn't have to be rooming with Evie.
It's kind of true.
You've got me there, but I still think it's better to talk to them about the things that are happening. And it's only temporary. And our room probably should be, rewarded. So, I don't know.
Well, and what if we learn some things without, just because we'll be close to Evie? What if she slips up and we hear something?
Yeah, and what if it gives us the chance to mess with her?
I don't think that's a
Or-
good idea.
Just a little bit.
She
Your
has
expulsion letter-
outsmarted us at every turn.
And
I
your
would not.
expulsion letter already made it to the headmistress.
Which, speaking of, Professor Kern said that he wasn't going to send that to her. He lied straight to me.
That is true.
How do you know it was him?
Who else would it be?
Who else
Evie?
would have reason to expel?
Evie can't write a letter of expulsion. She's a student.
But maybe since he already had one typed up, she took it.
That
Well,
bitch.
We should be getting
Or
back to
written
class.
up.
I agree with Maeve. We should.
I agree.
Fine.
As you turn to go back to the classroom, you hear the bells chime for the end of the lesson.
Oh.
And students start flurrying out of the classrooms and back into the halls.
Well, where do we go? Where do we go next? And she'll look at her schedule.
I believe alchemy.
Oh,
Great.
At
Brilliant.
least we have our ingredients.
We do.
Maeve, what was that book that they found?
Eliot found it,
Oh,
and it was a black book that said Vane, my last name, on the front of it. And I looked through it. It was empty. I'll tell you the rest of it later. I don't feel like I should speak about it in public.
that's true. They're the other people here, aren't there?
Yeah, let's make our way to alchemy, but we can definitely talk about it, after we get situated tonight. I hope they brought all of our things over.
I'm sure they probably did. Which, speaking of, I have to grab my books off my desk real quick. And she'll do that and then start walking to alchemy.
Okay. So you guys head through the halls and down to the dungeons of the school, the lower floors, where it's quite cool and the alchemy and potions department exists. You scurry and find your way to the classroom and sit down in your spots. Sit here. As you enter the potion lab and take your seats, you see Evelyn approach the professor's desk and pull a bright red apple from her bag and place it on his desk before finding her table next to Astrid and Daphne. I hope you all have brought your proper ingredients with you. Today you will be putting your knowledge to the test and brewing the basic healing potion. Now there are an abundance of restorative droughts in our world, droughts being plural. While we're not going to be brewing a whole host of potions, it is important to understand that others could be useful. Restorative draughts are a series of potions that give you a little pick-me-up, for lack of a better word. Feeling a bit sleepy, but it's only 5 o'clock and you still have an essay to write? There's a restorative draught to that. Feeling a bit peckish in the middle of the night? There's a restorative draught for that. Is your hair limp and oily and your hands are dry and cracked? There's a restorative draught for those as well. And I think by now you're probably starting to get the idea, which is restorative draughts are meant to make you feel a little better for minor things that cause discomfort. Evie breaks out. Professor Kern smiles. Pretty much. Restorative draughts aren't quite as strong as other potions you might use for similar purposes, but then again, they're not intended to be. All in all, There are countless different restorative drops that can rejuvenate various aspects of your body. And they all have the same potion base made of dittany, moon fungus, goodberry, and fairy fern. All 4 of those plants share a property, and this property is that they all have relatively mild healing or restorative effects. How do the potions then restore different things? A student asks in the back corner, and Evie and her squad silently giggle. How do I know that restorative drops isn't going to fix my dry skin instead of satisfying my hunger? I can sleep with dry skin, but not with a growling stomach. Ah, that's the final ingredient of a restorative drop. The key ingredient that dictates what exactly the potion will do. Stella pauses and smiles mysteriously. That is why the variations are fairly endless. Just add something that has the properties corresponding to what you would like to do with your restorative drop. Now, if you want to repair dry, cracked skin, the 5th and final ingredient to your restorative drop might be aloe, which is known for its healing ability across a range of skin conditions. Likewise, you could have a restorative drop with snake eggs to liven up and rejuvenate your sad, oily, or a hair, or with a peli feather to help you get through the late night studying. It is also possible to create your own restorative drops. For instance, I've never heard of anyone doing this, but in theory, adding dragon blood will reduce growths, such as the small benign tumors or warts. Essentially, a restorative drop can do anything you'd like to do, within reason, of course. He pauses for a moment, letting his students catch up on their notes. Then he starts. Now, we are going to be brewing the healing potion today. You have the rest of the class time to carry this out. Each of you will need to prepare exactly 1 bottle in order to become proficient in making this concoction. You may use your textbooks as a reference, and you can ask questions should you need it. As a reminder, on Friday, you will need to prepare this potion from memory in order to pass this portion of class. You may begin.
I'm so excited. This is like what my mama makes.
I love stuff like this. Okay, so
Open up our books.
If you need it, I got it here.
thank you.
I'm also going to put it in the library tab for references.
Awesome, thank you.
Question.
Yes, Miss Vane.
I meant DM question. I'm so sorry.
Yes, Miss Jessie.
With our spell book, could we make a little potion book?
It should be included on that on your tab. There's like a potions learn tab, or like it's under your
Report
like
card?
report card.
Got you. Okay. Do we need to update that?
It's just for your reference.
Okay. Thank you.
So, probably should.
Yeah. Okay. So, DM, do you want us to roll for us making this, or?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would like for a little bit of role play while you're rolling as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So this includes reading the instructions, preparing it, and then when you're ready to attempt that thing, then you will roll performance.
So I'm gonna start the fire under my cauldron and add 750 milliliters of river water. And she will get that and pour it in and wait for it to boil. I love making potions. This was supposed to be my favorite class. And she'll say that so that only her friends can hear it.
I mean, it still could be. It's only the 3rd day. You could always bring him chocolates or frogs, or what do you bring humans?
Oh, I don't know.
That
I'm
might
never
give
kissed
the back.
ass.
That might give a different idea. Maybe just try harder in class. But it looks like all of us are boiling now. And she looks over at the different cauldrons. It says 4 moon fungus spores until the potion turns green and stir, bringing down the boil. Okay.
Right.
She'll
Everyone
add
roll
them.
performance.
Huh?
Everyone roll performance.
You know, Maeve, you might not believe this, but I've actually been trying really, really hard. And I didn't think this would be the way it went when I came to Wakefield. I want to be a good student.
I know, you just have some etiquette to learn. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But I can tell that you've tried these last 2 days since your first day here. That's a good
Thanks.
thing.
I feel like I've had really rough days every day here so far, and that's not what I pictured.
Well, hopefully you can only get better.
Thank you.
I rolled. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I rolled a 16.
18.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
8.
Sydney, you got an 8.
Yes.
How the tables have turned.
How the turntables.
So 28, 18. What was the other ones?
16.
16 and 13. Okay. On to continue.
All right. So now we need to add 5 ounces of goodberry tree slime. And she looks at the Ingrid real fast and back. And then let it simmer until the potion turns a bright yellow color.
She kind of like picks up her slime and like wiggles it. She's like, I got it. She like pops
Yellow
the
for you.
cork off.
Ooh, make sure your potion is green first. And she'll add the slime.
All right. This time you're going to roll nature.
That one.
Oh, really?
Why? Yeah, really. Why? Fuck me.
7.
17.
13.
Also 17.
Okay. Go on.
Potion's not gonna do much.
Ashley, I love your drink.
Yeah, my potion bottle. Yeah. My vinegar bottle.
Does it taste like vinegar?
No. I had it in
Elzie, oh,
my stove. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're fine.
What if you were just drinking apple cider vinegar?
Die
I
then.
mean, people do that.
It is very good for you. Not for me, but it's very good for other people.
All right. Your next step.
Elzie will pick up the Dittany moss pods, and then until the potion turns a faint pink, if it glows at this point, you know you're doing it right. And Elzie's potion just starts glowing and sparkling.
You're going to roll medicine.
Unnatural 20.
18.
19.
6.
What did you say?
A medicine.
9.
Let's see so far. Marstella's, Maeve's, Elzie's, and Cadence's. Your potions are pretty pretty good right now. Ingrid, yours is looking a little rough. Next up.
She's just like staring at hers and like looking at everybody else's and like staring back at hers.
Is it glowing pink? If it's not, you might have to start over.
I don't know. What do you think? Look at it. Hell.
It's like a pale pink.
Kind of looks like cough syrup. I don't know. Mine looks great.
I mean, I think it might be passable. I think you're doing okay.
But it's not glowing.
Well, maybe you could just try stirring it. The next step is to stir it. Counterclockwise, by the way. And she'll start to stir.
She'll like
Maeve wills as
plop
well.
her spoon in and kind of like.
Now you're going to roll survival.
Oh dear.
Oh,
13.
4.
15.
Who is for?
Cadence.
What is Elzie?
15.
21.
21.
21.
And Ingrid's?
15.
There we go, finally.
Mm-hmm. I was rolling straight 6s.
And then on to your next step.
Ooh, now we have the crushed fairy ferns. 3 of them. And then
Yeah.
That's fun.
In a mortar and pestle.
I've never seen this before.
Oh, I have. These things are so fun. She'll sprinkle the leaves in and start to mash them up.
And then once they're all mashed, we let the potions simmer for 5 minutes.
So we
And-
don't put them in yet.
No, we have to let it simmer for 5 minutes and then add the ground leaves until it turns orange,
Got it.
like the fish. Like the
All right,
clown.
roll nature.
Yeah,
14.
You said
11.
7.
11.
16.
Hey, you guys all got that one. For the first one where every single one of you have passed the check.
I didn't even say
Uh,
what I
Oh.
got.
Oh, sorry. What was it?
18.
Okay. So sorry, I must have wrote 11.
I'm 11. Ash is 11.
Okay. And then the final step.
Stir until it turns yellow, as in step 3. Then let simmer. It should turn red once completed. Then you can bottle it.
That's easy enough. Once it turns
Okay.
orange, we'll stir it up.
Yellow. Stir
No,
until yellow.
Right, but it says to add the ground leaves until it turns orange, and then you stir
Okay.
until it turns yellow. And then it should turn red.
Oh, look
Um,
at that.
Finally is performance.
— 14,
17.
12,
10.
18.
Okay, let me calculate your scores.
Evie gets a perfect score.
Oh, you know she did.
Ingrid's kind of like looking at hers and looking at everybody else's, and she's like, okay, like it doesn't look too bad.
No.
I think I did better.
So you continue to brew your potions, and they all turn a different shade of red, but all red nonetheless. You bottle it and Professor Kern starts walking around to the tables. He comes over to your table. First, he looks at Elzie's. He says, "Good, pass." Ingrid, he takes a look at your potion. He goes, adequate, but it's a pass. He goes over to Cadence, looks at her, then looks at her potion. Not bad. Pass.
Cool.
Marcella. Not bad. Not bad.
It's like a lobster.
You're a little heavy-handed on the stirring, but you pass. And then Maeve. Interesting. Not bad. This table has passed. He goes over to the rest of the room. You hear some passes and fails and passes and fails. He goes over to Evie's table, and he looks it over, takes it, and she shakes it, and it shimmers as it gets agitated in a bottle. That is precisely the perfect potion if I've ever seen some. Congratulations, Miss Beauclair. You have surpassed this potion as expected. Now, this is the final lesson before your exam on Friday. You will need to prepare this potion from memory.
Okay.
The ingredients will be prepared for you here around the classroom. You must get it yourselves. There will be off notes and notebook. Understood?
Mhm.
Please arrive early to get prepared, because once the lesson begins, that will be your time to start. So for those of us who like to come into class right on time, you will be late.
Okie
No.
dokie.
Good afternoon, students. Class is dismissed.
Thank you for the lesson. Okay. Well, that was fun, actually.
Yeah, and do we get to take the potions with us?
Yeah.
Now we all have a healing potion, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just hope they work if you need it.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I've made some stuff like this before, but that was really cool. I just think alchemy is amazing.
Never made a potion before.
Really? That's all I wanted to do as a kid, just sit in the woods outside and make a potion. They weren't very good, ever, but it was fun.
And Elzie's just kind of looking at her potion, admiring it, like lost in thought.
I
Have
always
you-
just watch my mom make potions, and this is great.
Have you ever brewed potions before, Elzie?
I actually haven't, but I seem to do pretty okay today. What is your practice with brewing potions, Cadence?
Like how much I've done it, or the
Yeah.
reason? Oh,
Really reasons, I guess.
I just think it's awesome. I think alchemy is amazing. The way that you can take ingredients and transform them into something that, I mean, you can literally create magic with the right steps. I just think that's awesome. And so as a kid, I found a potion book and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So I started making my own with ingredients in the woods, but I've never really had any training or really known how to do it correctly. This is the first time I've ever even been able to have supplies.
Well, I'm really happy that you get to have this experience, and hopefully you continue loving it.
Yeah, now I just need to get Professor Kern to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, I find it interesting that somehow your letter for expulsion still got turned in.
Well, whatever. I guess it's in the past.
Definitely.
I already told you what I think.
I know what you think, Ingrid. We took a vote. And I stand by the choices I made. I would rather have to live with Evie for a couple weeks than get eaten by something that comes out of our mirror in the middle of the night. So, I stand by that.
Alright. Well, you can tell me that again next week.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, we
Off
should
to
get to
botany?
botany.
We had the same thought.
Mm-hmm. I like the botany class. Everything's really green, like a kelp forest.
So You head through the halls and out to the grounds of the school, taking in that crisp autumn air as the leaves are slowly changing from greens to reds and yellows as the term kind of starts to go in full swing. It may be only 3 days of term, but autumn has definitely made its way across the grounds. Fallen leaves make a crunch as you step across the grounds and find your way to the arboreum, this large giant greenhouse on the grounds. You make your way inside and feel the immediate feel of warmth in like summer as you find your classroom and settle in. When you let's see, when you step inside the classroom, you see that Professor Thornwright is putting a pot on top of the counter and there's a blooming plant inside of it. Well, hello there, my garden flowers. Sun's greetings. We might as well get started on today's topic, Aconite. Does anyone know what that may be? No worries. Aconite is also known as wolfsbane or monkshood. It is a flowering plant with magical properties. If you wanted to find this plant in the wild, then you would head down to southern Oxley. Aconite is also found in the Frostfell Mountains as well. It has, however, been tended in gardens since before the 1200s. It shouldn't be a surprise for you, then, that we have it growing here in our very own Wakefield greenhouses. The professor gestures to the plant he brought out to the front of the classroom. After adorning gloves, he uproots one of the plants and holds it out towards the class. As you can see, Aconite is easily recognizable by the tall spires which are adorned with purple flowers. These flowers bloom from mid to late summer. Some other varieties of Aconite have yellow or blue flowers, though I do prefer the ones that look at these by far. Aconite is actually most commonly known to be ingredient in a certain potion. Does anyone know what that might be? Yes, Miss Rose.
Is it for lycanthropy?
Exactly. Yes, the Wolfsbane potion, which eases the symptoms of lycanthropy. When you take the Wolfsbane potion, the afflicted are able to retain their mental state even while transformed as a wolf. Very good, Miss Rose. Professor, is it true that Aconite is toxic? A soft voice asks. You see that it's a blonde-haired woman in pigtails, the same girl, Ellie Graves, that was attacked just the other night. Very good question, Miss Graves. It is true, indeed, Aconite is toxic in its raw form, but as I just mentioned, it is very useful and safe when brewed in potions. Now, as you may have noted, I only handled this plant with gloves on. While the roots of the plant are the most toxic portion of the plant, toxins can still be found in small quantities throughout the plant. Touching or ingesting any part of this plant can be fatal. Only after boiling the plant are the toxins reduced to a level safe enough to handle the plant without worry. Even then, I would advise against ingesting the plant. While it can have some therapeutic uses in herbal form, the line between therapeutic and toxic doses is very, very thin. He places the plant he had been holding back into its planter. Carefully taking off his gloves, he continues with the lesson. Aconite is part of the genus Aconitum. It is said that there are over 250 distinct species in this genus, of which Aconite makes up a majority of them. This genus is also part of the I can't even pronounce this when I found this information, so Ranunculaceae plant family. There's not much to it, really. It thrives in all kinds of soil, including dry and wet. Ideally, it would be planted in places that have partial shade, and areas that get lots of wind should be avoided. The aconite stalks are not strong and would be knocked over or uprooted in a strong gust. Finally, I'd recommend planting aconite in September and allow ample time for its roots to develop prior to the winter. Another interesting fact is that aconite was often used to lace bait to kill animals or beasts. It would be also placed in the tips of hunters' arrows. This is actually how it came to be called wolfsbane. These tactics were most used to kill feral wolves. Are there any last-minute questions before I end today's lesson? I heard that roots of Aconite are what's used in potions. Is that true? Evie asks. Excellent question, Miss Beauclair. Yes, the roots are used in a variety of potions. They can be found in the Witchwood and the Apothecary in Esther Hollow. The flowers, as well as other sprigs themselves, are also used in some potions as well. Now, before we end today's lesson, I would like to do a bit of review. Yeah, Miss Vane, can you tell me the 3 different colors of Aconite?
Oh, I believe you said purple, white, and blue.
Unfortunately, that is not correct. Does anyone want to answer for her? Yes, Miss Rose.
It was purple, blue, and yellow.
That is correct. Very good. Now, what are the other names of Aconite, Miss Phoenix?
Wolfsbane?
Yes, that's one of them. How about you, Miss Alvarez? What's another name?
My notes obviously aren't very good. I don't remember.
That's okay. Yes, Miss Tide.
It's a monk's hood.
Monk's hood, exactly, because it does look like a hood of a monk. Now, if I were to plant this plant, say out in the wilds, where should one plant it? Anyone have a guess? Yes, Miss Phoenix.
Okay, so
Which one?
oh,
What'd you
Miss
call him?
Miss Phoenix.
The which one?
That is where one can find it. Yes, absolutely. Miss Alvarez.
well, you said that it lives in soil wet or dry. That doesn't matter, but not where it's windy because it will get knocked over.
Exactly.
And partial shade.
Exactly. See, very good, very good. You're redeeming yourself. I see that you're reading your notes. Now, the last and most important information to remember about Aconite is that it's highly toxic. What is the most toxic part of the plant? Yes, Miss Vane.
The leaves. Oh, or the
Incorrect.
root. The root. I'm so sorry. The root. The leaves are toxic when you touch them. I apologize.
That is okay. Good job. Now, that is all the time we have for today. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to pop by later. Also, keep in mind that your homework is due by our next lesson and can be picked up on the way out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, and also, could I have a word with the 5 of you? As he points to the 5 of you.
Sure. What is it?
So the students start to gather their things and tuck them in their bags. They exit the greenhouse, leaving only the 6 of you in there. Professor Thornwright, he starts putting some pots back on the shelves and tucks his gloves away. And he says, Professor Kern has asked me to provide him a Flameseed, but he hasn't told me exactly why, but I also haven't had time to go get them, as I've been busy with classes and grading homework and the like. I will waive your homework this week if you can get them by our next class. There in the Witchwood, there is a cave, a cavern, if you will, within the Witchwood that is home to these flame seeds. Be careful that there are magma snails that lurk there, but they are not that aggressive. If you would like, I can teach you the Fractal Spell to aid you if you have to deal with these magma spells. Is it okay if you take a little bit of extracurricular for this evening?
We get to learn a spell? Yes, please.
That
I would
sounds
really
great.
enjoy that.
Okay. Now, the incantation for the fractal spell is actually pretty simple. It's just fractus. Now, each of you, if you don't mind getting out your wands and aim it just over there at those pots and say fractus. And then everyone roll a nature check.
$21.
19.
Also 19.
16. What'd you get, Sam?
9. Sorry.
So each of you try to produce this spell as you see ice beams shoot out of it. Maeve, Maristella, and Ingrid are the ones who have mastered this spell. Cadence, you see a burst of ice that comes out the tip of your wand, almost in a misty form, but not the true like fractal icicle basically. And Professor Thornwright, he goes, "Oh no, you're flourishing your wand just a bit too much. It's all much more in the wrist. Point your wand a little bit more centered, and try again."
Okay, thank you. This isn't easy for me. I don't know why. $12.
Oh, I'm sorry, you get advantage with the professor's help.
12.
All right, just
Awesome
practice
dice.
a bit more, and I'm sure you would get it. Miss Phoenix, if you would. See, you have a ferocity about your spellcasting that I can see. This spell is more of pulling the emotions that you have built up within you and letting it go. Try again. Oh, and don't forget it's with advantage. And also you're muted.
Thank you. I've been trying not to sniffle on camera.
You're fine.
Okay. And what check is this again?
The nature.
Nature. Okay. 15. And then advantage. What is it the initiative bonus?
When you roll advantage, you roll two d20s, and whichever is the higher score is the one you take.
19.
Perfect. So a fractal of icicle beam shoots out and hits the plant. See, there you go. There you go. Remember, you want to feel the emotions. Miss Rose, I will prepare for you a pamphlet about easier spell casting if you say that you're having troubles. Now, it is important to know that because of who you are, you're a halfling. Halflings have a lower concentration to the weave, so their proficiencies are going to be more in potion making and beast mastery. While spell casting, any halfling can do it as long as they are tuned to the weave. What I might suggest for you is to find a space that is perfectly your own. Maybe it's within the sun's rays, or deep in the forest, or next to a babbling brook, and center yourself in the earth. Let it feel you. Take off your shoes. Let the grasp envelop your bare feet, and feel your connection to the weave and what nature has to give to you. That might help you with your spellcasting abilities.
Okay, I think I really do need that. I'm used to spending a lot of time outside, and these last few days I've just been indoors at Wakefield, and oh man. Okay, thanks.
Of course. Now, you are welcome to peruse the arboreum for as much as you'd like. There are different biomes in the different greenhouses if you'd prefer. The summer greenhouses are my quite favorite. An everlasting sun where it is never night. You also can feel the warmth of the sun's kiss upon you. It also may be a good idea to go to the sister tree of the elder tree in the center of the arboreum. There is a very fine connection to the weave there.
Okay. I saw you were putting some of these pots back on the shelves. Do you need any help cleaning up?
Oh, no dear, no dear. But it's quite fine. I have other things to get to, and I have another third year class coming in here soon, and they will be doing all that for me. I appreciate it. We are repotting mandrakes. Yes, Miss Tide.
The Fractal Spell, what is it's a ice damage spell, correct? But what's the damage?
So,
Oh.
with sending a beam of icy magic and fractals towards your wand, any infected creature must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 3d8 cold damage, or half as much on a successful one.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, I must prepare for the next lesson. You all have a wonderful evening.
You as
You
well.
too.
You head out of his classroom and back to the grounds of the school.
I think maybe that sister tree idea might be really smart. That'd be really cool to see a sister's tree.
Do you guys think I have time?
Not before
Well-
not divination. Astronomy.
And we probably have a good couple hours until dinner, so it's just not too far away. Let's go through the other ones. Let's find this sister tree for you, because
Yeah.
it'll help you.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. You don't have to come with me if you don't want to.
I think it'd be quite fascinating to see an actual corporeal part of the elder tree here. Since I'm from Hollow, we can see it from afar, but we're really not, ones to go to the actual tree itself.
Well, you're welcome to come. I think I'm probably just gonna spend some quiet time somewhere. I don't know if I'll go to the sister tree, but I do want to walk through the greenhouses and maybe find somewhere to sit.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna go straight to the sister tree if anybody wants to come with me.
I'll go with you, Maeve.
Yeah, I want to see it.
So you guys head after leaving the greenhouse, you head into the arboreum, which you see countless different greenhouses for the different years, for the different seasons, different biomes, swamps, arctic tundras, meadows, pretty much any type of biome that you could wish. And then in the center of the circular greenhouse, you see this large and beautiful oak tree that its branches just extend way past the ceilings of the arboreum, and you see glittering lights of sprites that kind of dance and play around the tree, and at the bottom of the tree is this wonderful glistening pool of water, where you can see fish and things swim through with beautiful like pebbles and crystalline gemstones kind of embedded in the fountain itself. It's just absolutely peaceful.
Maristelle is going to kneel by the water and wave to the fish and be like, "Hello, fish. I hope you're well."
A couple fish kind of like stop swimming in circles, and then they just like kind of swim up and like look at you before wagging their tails and then swimming along their way.
Oh, they're nice fish. They're really nice fish. I don't think people talk to them very often, actually.
Elzie looks up in amazement at the tree and takes a couple steps forward, trying to get a better look.
Maeve has this feeling in her chest, and she walks towards it, almost not obsessed, but allured toward it. And she takes slow steps, and she hesitantly reaches her hand out to touch the tree.
So to kind of explain, there is a basin of water, like a fountain around.
All around it?
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, my
Yes,
bad.
Yeah, the tree is in the center of the fountain. But as you kind of approach the fountain's edge, you hear beautiful, like someone beautifully singing.
Guys, who is that?
I don't
Was it
know,
the fish?
She
I don't
walks
think
around
so.
to the other side of the tree from where they're standing to see if anybody is behind the tree.
You see a girl with her feet in the water. She has no shoes on, no socks or anything like that. She has like a book in her lap as she's like playfully kicking at the water surrounding the tree. She has bright red hair, beautifully dark skin. As she like playfully like splashes in the water and reading her book as she like continues to sing.
Maeve stands there in awe and waits for her to finish, and she's like, "My, you have a beautiful voice."
She like she's like, oh, I am so sorry. I didn't know anyone else was here right now. I can stop.
No, please don't apologize. Your voice is beautiful. We just came here to see the sister tree, that's all. You weren't bothering us at all.
Oh. well, I'm glad that you like listening to my voice.
Mara's gonna peek around the tree and be like, I think the fish like it too.
Yeah, where I'm from, Fisher. Wait a second. And she begins speaking in Mermish. I know a merfolk when I see one. Hello, it's so nice to see you. There's like not very many of us that go to the school. Hi, my name's Marina.
Hi, I'm Maristella.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And you guys like wiggle your noses as like a sign of like greeting of the merfolk.
Do you want to go swimming in the mornings with me?
Oh my gosh, see, listen, I would absolutely love to. The pools here, that chlorine, not a fan.
What about the lake?
Oh,
Is it
the
bad?
lake. No, just you gotta make sure you stay in the shores. Supposedly there's a sea monster that lives in the lake.
Okay. Well,
But oh, hello everyone. My name's Marina. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Hi, Marina. Nice to meet you. Do you come here often?
I do like the peacefulness of the waters here, and they actually let you put your feet in the water, and the little fish, they eat your dead skin from your feet. See? And then you see a couple like minnows and fish like eating the dead skin on our feet.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I'm Maeve. It's nice to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. You know, I just had the worst day, My dad, he just tries to keep telling me how to live my life. And the guy that I'm dating, I feel like he might be seeing somebody else. When I talk to him, I feel like he doesn't even hear my voice. And my best friend has been so crabby lately.
Oh, that's no fun. But, like, what is your dad doing to control your life? Is he, like, forcing you to be here? Or to eat weird things?
No, he doesn't actually want me to be here. He wants me to be back home.
Ew. I'd rather
I
be
know.
here.
Exactly. Magic is so alluring.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, one of my biggest passions is singing.
Have you tried joining the singing club here? Do they have a singing club here? You'd be really great.
Yeah. The thing is that they're really worried about mermaids joining the club because we're all just, like, so good. So it's, like, highly selective for the amount of merfolk that they let in. There's already another one.
Another one?
Mhm.
Oh. That's a pity.
Yeah.
Well, you can always keep trying.
But sometimes I like to go into town and sing at the Quill and Ink Tavern.
Ooh. We haven't been there yet.
You haven't been to Esther Hollow?
I mean, we got our supplies there, but we haven't gone, like, back.
Oh, well, it's coming up on an Esther Hollow weekend.
Oh. Well, maybe if you're there singing, we can come listen.
That sounds wonderful.
Well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'll come listen.
You're so kind. I would appreciate it.
I definitely think an outing to Esther Hollow sounds amazing, and going to the tavern and listening, I think that would be a great treat.
Perfect. Well, then I'll see you all there Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
Saturday?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. After they finish talking to her, Cadence is going to sort of follow the water. Does it sort of run deeper in, or is it like just around that tree?
It's just around the tree.
Okay, then she's gonna walk through and just kind of look. I know he said there's a few different biomes, and she's gonna find a place that feels like home to her. Maybe somewhere with like little mushrooms and like moss and like some rocks on the ground, and find a space that's away from everybody chit chatting, and just kind of sit down and do what Professor Thornwright said, and take off her shoes and focus on the grass and lean against a tree and just try to connect with the weave if she can.
Roll a nature check, and you're also going to roll an arcana check.
Uh, 11 for nature and 19 for arcana.
So as you kind of sit and embed yourself in the soft, lush grass of the biome, you feel yourself connecting to nature as a summer breeze drifts by. The sweet smells of honeysuckle and gardenia kind of fill your nose, and you feel the sun's warm rays on your skin, kind of reminding you of home and what you left. But your connection to the earth and the weave feels pretty strong.
Okay. She'll run her hands through the grass, and I really, really want to be good at this. And she'll spend a few minutes there before, I guess, eventually getting up and going to rejoin her friends.
Okay.
By the time everyone is just doing their own thing, Maeve has actually taken off her shoes and socks, and she took out her history book, and she is putting her legs in the cool water, as Marina did, and she is going to read her history book.
Okay.
Just
For how
'cause-
long?
however long until Cadence gets back.
Okay. So as you kind of like place your feet into the water, you notice that the fish don't come near you. Like they make it a plot not to come near your feet.
Oh, she said they would eat my dead skin.
Yeah, Maeve, why are they not going for your feet?
Maybe you don't
I
have
don't
dead
know.
skin.
Maybe they don't like smelly feet.
Ingrid will sit next to her and put her feet in as well.
You feel the icy kind of chill of the water, almost an electrifying kind of coursing feeling through both Ingrid and Maeve, kind of go through your bodies like a shiver or a chill, but then it kind of dissipates.
She like shivers at the same time that Maeve does, and then she kind of looks at her.
Maeve gives her a soft smile, and then she looks back down at her book that she's reading.
Elzie decides to see what happens when she steps in the water, so she steps forward and into the water.
As you kind of dangle your feet into it, the little like minnows and fish start to come to your feet and start nibbling away at the dead skin and cells and things like that, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a tickle.
Huh. Interesting.
Are the fish not at Ingrid's feet either?
Correct.
Okay.
I wonder what's going on here.
Just don't like our feet.
I guess so. So
I'm not too
interesting.
upset.
though.
Ingrid kind of like takes her feet out and she like kind of shakes her feet off like a cat and like puts her shoes back on and just kind of like wanders around. Not really doing anything in particular, just like looking around.
I think Maristella is still with Marina, and they're like just speaking in merfolk to her and like giggling and like talking to the fish and then like splashing a little bit and enjoying a mermaid's company.
Sure.
Elzie kind of enjoys the moment and feels the fish tickling her feet as they nibble at her, and just kind of ponders why they might not have liked my other two classmates.
Okay. Anything else? All right. As you kind of are hanging out in the greenhouse, Marina, she packs up her stuff and puts it in her bag. As she slings it over her shoulder, she's like, "Well, it was really nice meeting you all. I hope to see you on Saturday."
I hope to see you too.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up more.
Have a good day. Is that what they say? Something like that.
That works. And then she smiles at you all and then heads off out of the greenhouse.
Well, that was refreshing.
Yes. Is Cadence back yet, or she?
At this time, Cadence has returned.
She'll walk.
Do you feel better?
I think I feel about the same. I mean, if I'm being honest, I've always felt pretty in tune to nature, and I've always felt like I had a strong connection to the weave or to Yuna or to both. It's hard to explain, but I don't feel like my connection to it is the problem. I think I'm just struggling with school.
It could be your focus. You could have a strong connection, but you need that point where the weave is completely surrounding you, going in all sorts of directions. It needs you as an amplifier, a position you like. Oh, how do I say this correctly? You are the object in which the magic pours out of. So you need to think of your wand as all of that magic within you. Not all of it, but that magic is the source, a well inside of yourself. And as you point your wand and cast your magic, you feel it in your chest. And going out of your chest, it goes through your arm and out of your wand.
Actually, that does kind of help. You know, I've always been so focused on potions and alchemy that I guess I think of magic as something that I create outside of me. I don't really think of it as something that comes from inside of me.
It's a part of you.
I guess you're right. I don't know. This is hard for me. I've never been good in institutions, I guess, and with, you know, rigid rules and curriculums and schedules. I mean, it's just not easy for me. It never has been. That's why I left home in the first place.
Well, think of it as a set of rules that you need to listen to and follow in order for you to find your true potential. Because, you know, Wakefield is very important and it's very structured. Etiquette is high, and in order to succeed, you got to follow it. It's, you know, their rules or you're out of here. But I just think
Yeah.
if you keep applying yourself and think that this is what you want, in order to get what you want, you have to follow the rules.
I
And
hate
it's
that.
yes, you know, not every rule is the best, but they're put it in that place for a reason. And although the reason might not be good, you still got to follow them nonetheless. But
Well,
definitely think about that when you're trying to practice for your spells. Wait, what time is it? And she looks up at the sky to see how close it would be to dinner time.
You have about an hour or so before dinner starts getting served.
Well, and she puts back on, like, she shakes off the water, she stands up. Why don't you and I practice a spell? Which one would you like to practice?
well, let's try to learn that fractal spell again.
Okay. Here. And she's like, watch my wrist.
Okay.
DM, how do you pronounce it again? I don't want to say it incorrectly.
Practice.
Practice. And she like does that and she's like, practice. See? Now you try. And you got to think of your wand as an extension of the well of the weave's magic inside of you.
Okay. Here we go. Practice.
Roll nature.
While they're doing that, can Ingrid study the potion that they're going to be
Mhm.
examined on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, and Cadence is gonna try and then just be like, "God damn it!"
As you start shaking your wand, an eruption of like fire erupts out of it.
Oh dear.
Since Maeve was standing, like, they're kind of facing each other, she screams and, like, falls back.
Oh, holy shit!
Roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Just Cadence.
Oh, Cadence. Oh my good god. Which one of you motherfuckers cursed me? Dexterity, okay. 9.
You feel a push, and you go flying across the greenhouse as one of the branches from the tree just swats you away for casting a destructive spell near it, and you go flying across the the greenhouse, and you're gonna take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
She smacks against the wall of the greenhouse and falls to the ground. God! Ow!
You see where you had landed, the glass is like cracked in the greenhouse.
Ow!
Maricel will come over and like, are you okay?
She's gonna pick herself up and brush off her knees. I
That
guess
was,
so.
really good.
What is happening? What's wrong with my wand?
Well, my dad once said that magic comes from the soul because your soul is magic, which means, I guess I have no clue where I'm going with that. But the wand's the extension of your soul. So one extension of you. So this is like your arm. I think that's what he said.
Well, that's what I tried to do, but then it just burst into flames.
Maybe you need to like talk with your wand and like have a powwow and say like, hey, let's get along.
Maybe. I don't know. That hurt. I'm gonna drink my health potion.
And while she does
will.
that, she's gonna cast Remendo on the glass.
You see the glass take back form and repair itself.
That's better.
The whole
Maybe-
time this is happening, Elzie is looking over the mysterious book on black. Oh, wait. On toxic ooze.
So as you're kind of perusing the book itself, you're seeing everything from toxic oozes from the body due to unforeseen spell work to plant fungus oozes of the Southern Isles. However, no information specifically about this black sludge is found. You feel defeated, like you're coming up short.
I love the idea of Cadence being flung by fire and tree branch into the wall of the greenhouse, and Elzie just turns the page. She's just reading her book.
He's very, very intent on understanding what's going on.
We also have to remember we have to get that Flameseed, which is the whole point of this Fractal Spell. I forgot. Gotta go to that cave.
Yes, but we don't have that class till Friday. So I was thinking about going after divination tomorrow because we don't have a night class.
That's smart. Oh, yeah, we have astronomy tonight. I can't wait.
So what happens when I drink the health potion?
You feel your wounds getting back, and you regain those 3 points of damage.
Maeve looks over at Cadence. Maybe you should practice outside next time.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for trying to help.
We'll
Maybe you
keep
should-
trying.
apologize to Sister Tree. And then
Yeah.
maybe she'll like grant you weave stuff.
Sorry, Tree.
You literally it like rustles its like branches and like shimmers down as kind of leaves like magically fall from it, and the sprites like dance and get agitated before slowly coming down like bumblebees.
It's okay, Tree. She didn't mean to.
Let's head to dinner.
Pretty sure it hurt me more than I hurt it. She'll go to dinner.
Okay.
Can we take a quick bathroom break?
Yeah, go ahead. Head off to dinner and get all of your feedings for the evening. And it's kind of weird because Jupiter's not there.
I hope she's okay. It was very sudden.
I feel really bad. I wonder if everything that was happening just freaked her out. It kind of sounds like she had a breakdown.
What? A breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, from what Professor or Headmistress Avis said, that it was just like everything was overwhelming. It was too much for her. She had to drop out of school. What else would you call that?
That's true, but I'm sad.
Yeah,
What does
I mean,
that note say? Who has it?
oh yeah, the letter.
Maybe Marcella has it.
Sure. You open up the letter, but you don't see anything in it.
It's
Maybe
like
we have to put it in the freezer.
the freezer.
Or hold on, give me it. Lumos. Lumio. And she puts the paper behind the light. Maybe it's magic.
Through the light that you put your wand behind the parchment, you see a constellation appear on the page.
Does anybody know this constellation?
Can Mar roll some sort of check to see if she knows it since she studies that?
You can roll a nature check.
Don't a couple of you study constellations?
It was me and Jupiter.
Oh, that's right. Ingrid, what are you specialized in again?
That would be divination.
A dirty 20.
So you recognize this constellation to be that of the Watcher.
The Watcher constellation. Huh.
It has to be a message of some sort. And she undoes the Lumio spell and she sets her wand down.
Mara's gonna cast Revelus on the paper, see if there's anything else.
The constellation appears again.
Well, we just gotta find out the meaning of this constellation. Maybe that's the message.
Good thing we have astronomy next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, we should head to class soon, shouldn't we?
Wait, I want to try one more thing, and Ingrid is going to cast Messentia.
So as you cast the spell, you get an echo in your mind. Only you can see it with the spell. As you see Jupiter writing down a like drawing in the constellation, she looks panicked. She looks freaked out, and then you see her abruptly turn to her left, and then the echo disappears from your vision.
Well, do you see anything?
Yeah, she was freaked out. She was drawing this frantically, and then she just it just stops. That
Well,
Like she was looking at something where it stops.
I mean, Professor Avis did say she was kind of freaked out about all the dark stuff. Think it looks like she was in danger? Or just stressed?
I only saw her. I don't know what was around her, so I don't know if it was dangerous.
Well,
I
the clue is
don't know
the
that
constellation.
I don't know that she left because she wanted to leave, though.
What do you mean? Like she was driven from the school? Or like expelled?
I don't know about expulsion. She didn't look like a student with a threatened expulsion. She,
Well-
like I said, she looked scared. Like, I
Like
don't
maybe
know.
she was in danger? What if it was the thing in the mirror?
We can't speculate. It'll only drive our fears, our own fears.
What do you call it? The Heim?
That's what he said, and she whispers it.
Well, let's
sad.
not jump to the conclusions yet. Let's see if we can find out more, maybe.
Well, we can ask our not new professor, but our professor in astronomy class what the Watcher constellation means if we don't learn it there or we don't find it in our books.
That's a good start.
Be a clue to see what's wrong with Jupiter.
But we have like 3 hours until our class. It's only 6 o'clock. We probably don't have to leave for astronomy till 9.
That means we could drink more coffee, and like Marcel drinks more caffeine.
You're crazy. If I drank that much coffee, I'd probably explode.
Well, you have to stay up real late, and I don't want to miss all the stars. The stars are beautiful. They talk to you.
They talk to you?
Not like actually talk to you. They just twinkle, and it's like they're saying stuff. It's like Morse code, but not.
Do you think the Watcher is going to talk to us? Maybe we should try to find that constellation tonight if we get the chance.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, it might not help us understand what happened to Jupiter, but apparently that constellation means something.
Like it's watching you.
That's
wonder
what I'm afraid
if
of. Like whatever was in the woods when we were on our way here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we won't know until class tonight, so just make sure we stay awake.
Don't drink too much.
Yeah, what if you're tired tomorrow?
Yeah. Never really had caffeine really before. But I don't want to miss class at all because the starfish in the sky are going to be beautiful.
You've never had caffeine before?
I mean, I live in water.
Well, how much coffee have you had?
This is my second cup.
Please stop.
Cadence will reach out and like gently lower her cup to the table.
Her eyes are just bugging out.
Just take it easy, Mar.
Caffeine's great.
You're gonna need to poop.
Oh. With my butt.
How much time do we have before the next class?
Depending, like it takes you about 45 minutes to like finish with dinner, so about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
All right, like I might run to the library really quick, guys, and try and return this book. I didn't find anything of note in it.
You know, I think I'll go with you because I kind of want to check out a book, maybe about the weave or spellcasting, or just try to figure out what's going on with my wand.
Okay, cool. Anyone else want to join?
I mean, I'll tag along. I don't want to be alone.
I will never say no to a trip to the library. If I do, please send me to the infirmary because something is terribly wrong with me. And she laughs and she claps finished and she's like, well, let's go.
Ingrid, do you want to come too?
I guess. And
Okay.
she'll like take her last bite and stand up. I have a random DM question, and I
Yeah, go ahead.
apologize for the randomness of it. But what are... Oh shoot, I lost it now. Sorcery points.
It's how you can cast your spells, and like it's like a spell slot almost. Like you get to do things with your sorcery points. Why do you ask?
I was just curious because I was looking at some of the stuff. So I remembered that I had something and could do something. But anyway, I wanted to know what they were, how you get them, and all that kind of stuff. But we
Wizards.
can go into like different, more background later after
that's
if you need to.
That's more for like the
Sorcerer.
sorcery class. So like
Yeah.
Tara was a sorcerer, and so I had sorcery points that I could turn into an extra spell slot or cast different things with, or like amplify damage. But I don't think wizards have
don't.
sorcery points. It's only for sorcerers, which we are not. We're wizards.
There's only one sorcerer at this school.
Okay, well then why did stuff from my thing have that?
What?
I think. I don't know, it said sorcery points. Hold on. It's fine. We can move on. It's all good.
Don't worry about it for now. It's not
Yep.
relevant. We'll come back.
Yep.
All right, so you finish
Sorry.
dinner. You finish dinner and decide to head off towards the library, where it's a little busier. As there's only about an hour and a half or so before the library closes. But why is this loud again? Does that feel loud to you?
Mm-mm.
No, maybe it's just me then. Okay, so yeah, you head back to the library.
I'm gonna return this really quick before I forget. But do you guys want to see if maybe we can find that room again?
I wonder if Eliot's here.
Yeah, let's see who's here. And then Elzie turns around and walks toward the checkout desk.
Good. Madame Violet, the ghost, she's just kind of peering over her glasses and looking at her records. She goes, Miss Phoenix, did you like your book?
Yeah, it was really interesting. It left me wanting more, for sure. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, you see, most of books checked out about toxic oozes, black sludges, and things have actually already been checked out of the library on an extended checkout.
Interesting. That's so weird. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. We're learning about it in alchemy, I think. You know who has them all checked out? Maybe I can see if I can borrow one from them, because I really want to understand.
Unfortunately, ma'am, I cannot tell you who has checked them out. But hopefully they will return within the next couple of weeks or so.
Okay. Well, thank you, and have a good night.
And she goes to like where the log is of all the books checked out, and she takes your book and she marks it down that you have returned it.
Elzie turns slowly, kind of looking at her desk to see if there's a list or if that's the only one.
Roll sleight of hand.
Is that D20?
Yes.
And then sleight of hand will be one of your skills, like medicine or nature or...
Sure, at the very bottom.
All right. I got a 24.
So what you're going to do, you kind of like quickly glance at her list of things, and you see that there are a couple of those books checked out by Miss Beauclair.
Elzie notices it. She kind of raises her eyebrows and thinks that that's interesting. Doesn't really know what to make of it, and hurries back to her friends.
Okay.
Hey guys, what do you want to do first?
Well, I'm on a bit of a history kick with my reading today, so I'll be right back. And she scurries off towards the shelves of books, and she is going to remember the quote on the front of the pamphlet she received about the school with her brother. And she is going to look for the expanded history on the Tonel.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
6 plus 18. Yeah.
So you peruse the bookshelves and finally you come across a copy of it.
Yes. And she looks through it really quickly, and she closes it, and she walks up to the librarian.
Well, hello, dear. What can I do for you?
I would like to check this book out. I was wondering if I believe you only have a couple days to read it, right?
Yes, 3 days is what our normal checkout time is for.
Is there any way to extend it?
Yes, so you can extend those by a request of your professor.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'll just check it out for 3 days, and if I need more time, I'll just recheck it out if that's okay.
Of course, as long as there's not a waiting list for it, you're more than welcome to. Now, I will need your student ID.
Here's the book.
She takes it over, she writes in the book of the date of when she checked it out, of when you check it out, and your name, and then the due date. She circles it. All right, we will see you in 3 days. Enjoy
you.
reading about your heritage.
Thanks. And she puts the book in her bag, and she goes back to the group. Did any of you find some interesting books?
While this is happening, Cadence is going to be perusing the shelves looking for a book on wands and anything that she could find that might explain why she's struggling so much with spellcasting and why flames burst out of her wand.
So you kind of peruse the shelves. You're seeing books on wand lore, wand care, how to properly, hold a wand, spellcasting for dummies, that type of thing. It's tucked away in like a little lore alcove, where you see Eliot perched on an armchair next to a fireplace, reading a big tome in his lap.
She's going to quite confidently pick up Spellcasting for Dummies and one book about wand lore and caretaking or whatever. She'll just pick 2 books. One about wands, one Spellcasting for Dummies. And she'll turn and see Eliot and she'll hide Spellcasting for Dummies like casually behind her back. Hey, it's you.
Oh, hello. How are you, Cadence?
I've been better, but it's fine. Are you working tonight?
Working on this project, yes, but in the library, no.
What's your project?
Stuff about the old ancient histories and long lost ruins and archaic runes that Magi used to use, as well as a complete plant compendium for my botany lesson, and then how to brew some staying up late restorative draughts.
Well, that's a lot. Yeah.
No, that's like light reading right now.
Oh. Yeah, I've been studying a lot too. Definitely been studying a lot. Well, it was nice to see you.
Yeah, same to you.
Alright. Well, bye. And she's gonna run off and go check out her books.
Okay. She goes up to Madame Violet, and she kind of like looks at your book. She goes, "Oh, interesting. Student ID, please."
Sure. And she'll hand it over.
Ah, Miss Rose, you are quite the talk in the teacher's lounge.
What? I am? Why?
Is that you caused quite a disruption in your alchemy classes? Is this so?
No, that's not true. It wasn't me.
Oh, then my mistake then. You will have these books for 3 days, okay?
Yeah, if you're worried about disruptions, it's that girl Evie.
What about Princess Evie?
Just that she's the one causing the disruptions, and she'll reach for her books.
It is quite interesting that you say that, because Miss Evie has the highest of recommendations here than any other Wakefield student, except for perhaps Elliot Spellman.
I believe that, actually. I'll take my books. Thanks.
We'll see you in 3 days, Miss Rose.
Yep, see ya. And she'll go off with her friends.
All Mara's going to be doing, she's going to be like looking up at the ceiling, like aimlessly walking around. So you see like her, this like in the movie frame, like walking behind, like like Cadence talking to Elliot, and then going back and forth again. She's just like
Love
waiting
that.
for the next class because she's very excited, but she's also high on coffee.
So
What else are you
what
gonna do?
books? Oh. What books did you grab?
Just some stuff about maybe what's going on with my spells. What about you?
Well, since I've been on such a history kick today, reading the book earlier, I was thinking back that, the quote on the front of the pamphlet, I should really look into my heritage.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting.
Yes,
I
I
know-
hope I gained some insight from it.
Well, I know you like history. Are you worried about your heritage?
No, it made me think maybe there's something I don't know.
Yeah, especially, with that weird book and everything Professor or Headmistress Avis said about it.
Yes. I didn't know. I mean, I had a thought, but I'll tell you guys later.
Okay, sure.
But anybody else grab anything?
I don't know how you guys have so much time for all these other books when we have plenty just from our classes. And she like walks up with one of like the books that she was like looking through for one of the classes, like still in her hand, because she just like sat down in a chair and was like studying.
Well, some of us haven't figured out how to cast 3 spells yet, so...
Mara's just going to pipe in and just say, the library is really pretty.
Why, yes, it is. The architecture is phenomenal.
So, guys, I did find something interesting out, if anyone wants to know.
Yes.
At the library?
Yeah, so it looks like I was returning my book about that toxic ooze that I found, to learn more about whatever's going on. And I asked Miss Beauclair, that is the librarian, right?
Madame Violet.
Madame Violet, about if she had any other recommendations related to the same topic. And she said that they had all been checked out on an extended checkout. And I asked her if she'd tell me who it was, and she said she couldn't, which I kind of get, but at the same time, isn't it a little odd that all those books go missing at the same time?
Well, they're not missing if they're checked out.
I mean, but do we really think that students are reading them, or is not one person checking
Well-
them out?
And she wouldn't tell you?
She wouldn't. But I saw on her list that it was Miss Beauclair.
That's Evie.
That makes sense. Didn't Evie say that she was working with Professor Kern on something, like on a project? The only way you can indefinitely check out books is if you get a recommendation from your teacher or from your professor. So it must be from, Professor Kern's approval.
Yeah, and what do you think was up with that apple?
Maybe she really likes apples.
Yeah, but it's
I don't
kind of
know.
weird she gave one to Professor Kern, don't you think?
I mean, it seems that they have some kind of situation going on where he's giving her extra credit. So maybe she's just sucking up to him. Who knows? I'm more interested in finding out why they're they checked out all the Toxic Ooze books.
Well,
we
we
will
can
be,
ask her.
yeah, we'll be
Oh.
rooming with her.
I don't know if we should ask her. I feel like she's not going to tell us anything.
But if we're
Where's
rooming with
Spellbound?
her, you could probably borrow a book. And you maybe wouldn't necessarily have to ask as long as you put it back really quick.
This is her
Fast.
suite.
Ours too now.
It's
It's
not
book-
ours. We are only guests.
And the book isn't hers. It belongs to the school. Elzie, maybe she'll have it on a shelf and you can read it while we're living with her. Surely that wouldn't upset her. That seems like a normal...
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but we'll see. If it happens to be laying around, maybe I will take a peek. Otherwise, maybe I will just mention it to her. Although I don't think I'm going to get results just talking to her.
No, I don't think so either.
You could ask the help, like be an assistant. She might actually like that.
What, like be her maid? Yeah, right.
If you want
Did
information,
anyone find Elliot while we were here?
Yeah, he's over there. I started to talk to him, but he seemed pretty overwhelmed with schoolwork.
Oh, okay. Well, it's almost time for class anyway, so maybe we should head to astronomy.
Maeve lets out a sigh of relief, and she's like, "Yeah, let's go to astronomy."
I can't
Um,
wait to start fishing.
From behind you, more students are kind of exiting the library as the 8:30 time for the library to be closed starts to go, and then you see kind of Elliot pop around a corner from his alcove, stuffing just like books and books into his bag, and he like throws it over his shoulder, and like heads towards you guys. He goes, "Oh, hey, fancy meeting you here."
Hello, Elliot.
Hello.
Hey. How's it going? What you reading?
Elemental Transfiguration, books about planet compendiums, you name it, I probably got it.
Interesting. You read anything good on Toxic Ooze lately?
Toxic ooze? Like what time?
I don't know, within the last few days or maybe a week.
I mean, there have been a couple books that I've been wanting to check out, but apparently they're on extended checkout time. I was put on the wait list, so I'm hoping that I can get them checked out because that's like one of the few things I haven't read yet. But also, I did get permission from my professors to look into the restricted section, and there are some very interesting things in there.
Oh, really? How do you get
You
permission for that?
Well, typically it's only for fourth years because they get extended privileges and things like that, especially when they work on their independent projects. But because my academic merit, most of my professors allowed it. And Madame Violet at first wasn't very happy, but they did give me a key. And he like holds out a brass key that he has tied around his neck.
Interesting.
That's wicked awesome, actually.
Yeah, just more books to read. But books are better than people. So,
Well,
besides you guys, I didn't mean that. Like, you guys are cool too.
You're cool too.
if we wanted to get one of those books, would you be able to help us check them out?
Well, technically, like, only I should be the one checking it out. So, like, giving it to you would be kind of like breaking a school rule, and that's just not what I should be doing.
Right, but
What if you check it out, you read it, and then you tell us about it when you're done?
I suppose that's something I could do for you. What book did you want to get out?
Anything that has to do with Toxic Ooze. I'm just fascinated by the topic.
Okay, well, I'll definitely see what I can do for you.
Thanks, Elliot.
Of course. Friends gotta stick together, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah. Maybe since you're in the restriction section, get a charm for yourself to help you with that bag. It's gonna burst with that many books in it.
Oh yeah, undetectable extension charms are banned.
Oh. I didn't realize they're a band. Thank you for letting me know.
Yep, the Magisterium outlaws them because then it defeats the purpose of like buying more bags, and then that like disrupts commerce and things like that. However, one can usually find a bag of holding, usually in cave ruins and magic shops.
Oh. Might want to look into getting one for yourself.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I should have all these books read by tomorrow evening, so we should be fine.
Wow.
Well, Elliot, can I talk to you? Aside?
Oh, yeah. What's up?
And she pulls him aside and she's like, that book you gave me?
The diary?
Yeah. Wait, how did you know it was a diary?
Well, because it had blank pages and there were dates at the top of it.
Yeah, Headmistress Avis took it from me. She
Why?
searched our belongings. It was filled with dark magic, and I have an idea why. And you can't say anything. Please, Pinky, promise you won't say anything.
He, his eyes widen when you mention Pinky Promise. And he's like, you take Pinky Promises to the grave.
I know.
Okay. And he extends out his pinky.
I haven't told the group yet, and I'm afraid to. But since you knew about the book first... Okay. I couldn't figure out what was in the diary, so I decided to write in it. And it wrote back.
What did it say?
Hello, this is Malister.
His eyes widen. So that book we found was Malister's?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good that Headmistress Avis took it then. You don't want a dark object like that near you.
I know, but why does it have my last name on it?
I don't know about that. But, I mean, you don't have a Malister in your family tree at all, do you?
No. I'm sure my parents would have told us.
Well, in history class, we learned that Malister changed his name and cast a memory charm on it so that no one remembers his real name.
You can't think he could be a... No.
Well, it's possible. I would look at your family history from 450 years ago.
I took out this book to start the research. And she pulls out the book. Expanded history. I mean, to start with my heritage would be a good starting point. I don't know if they would specifically list, the Vane family tree.
See, some of these books are enchanted, so sometimes you can pull out more information than the book already has. It's kind of like guides and things like that. If you charm it correctly with the Revelous spell, or perhaps my Essentia spell, you might be able to find more information in it. Sometimes the authors will hide significant amounts of information that they couldn't possibly publish in one book.
Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Yeah.
That is such a great... I didn't even think about that. And she gives him a quick hug and she's like, thank you.
When you hug him, you feel snow fall upon your head in a flurry. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That happens when I get a high emotion.
It's okay. It's okay.
And he
and she laughs.
hugs her back. And then he kind of lets go and he goes, "You're the first person I've ever hugged on Everas."
What? No one's hugged you?
No, not really. They typically stand away from me or they punch me.
Well, we won't do that. And she gives him a soft smile. Really, if you need anyone to talk to or anything at all, if you're feeling lonely other than your books, come find us. We'll listen.
Well, thank you. I'm typically in the library in between classes and after classes and on the weekends as well, and sometimes during restricted hours. So, yeah, I will try to find you if I'm not there.
Okay. Well, we have to get out to astronomy class. So, see you
have
later.
That too?
Oh, are you in the same class?
Yeah, tonight at 9:30.
Yeah. Come on. We're all walking there together.
Okay. And he smiles and adjusts his bag over his shoulder as this just bulging bag of books is just pounding away, bumping into tables and other students as they pass by. They're like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh, sorry." and then you guys make your way to the astronomy tower. Let me get this. Let me get this. Let me get this. Okay. That go in. Hopefully that'll work. Who knows? Sometimes it likes to do this. There we go. Perfect. So, you guys enter the astronomy tower, and you see this beautiful circular domed room with constellations in the night sky above, a solar planetarium kind of wrapping around the center of the room, as there are plush chairs and pillows and just soft cushions and couches scattered all around the room. With like little tables with little oil lamps on each one set just for you as your own personal desk. And you all file in realizing that Evie's in this class, Archer, Astrid, Daphne, pretty much every single person, main character-wise, is in this class. And then as you all kind of gather in your seats and come settle down, you feel like a draft chill to the air as this tower is high up. It's very arid and it definitely gets a little cold in here. And then you hear from the doorway, "Good evening, my little stars." A tiefling with a bald head and glowing purple eyes greets you all as you sleepily emerge from the steps onto the top of the tower. "Don't worry about setting up your telescopes tonight. You will not need them. Since you are relatively new to astronomy, we're going to be starting out the year with defining some terms and learning measurements." Her voice is sleepy, dreamlike, very, very just ethereal, if you will. "Please have your quills and parchment out for taking notes. I also recommend taking a look at your syllabus while everyone gets settled. And if you're feeling cold in this drafty tower, feel free to grab some blankets or jackets or whatever you need to be comfortable from the pile near the door." There's a small commotion as the students rummage for supplies, and several run up to a pile of jackets and blankets from long layers. Professor Astra decides to summon a mug of hot tea or hot cocoa for everyone on their desks, and soon the whole class has steaming mugs next to their sheets of parchment. "Now that we're all ready, let us begin. My name is Professor Astra, and I'm here to guide you through the cosmos. One of the most important things in the study of astronomy is to be able to find objects in the sky when you look for them. How would you pinpoint a location on Everas for someone?" She looks around and she sees Eliot with his hand raised. "Latitude and longitude coordinates, ma'am," he says confidently. "Exactly. We have a very similar system for dividing up the night sky. These are called celestial coordinates, and they consist of the declination and the right ascension. Its poles line up right over the north and south poles of Everas, and the celestial equator is directly aligned with Everas's equator. To get our reference point to measure from, you need to know where the celestial equator crosses the ecliptic." Some students are still writing, but most are staring up at the dome ceiling of the twinkling stars, almost as if the domed tower just extends into the night sky. They also seem a little confused at what she's saying. "Here, perhaps this will help." And with a wave of her wand, bright labeled lines appear above them, seeming to stretch the length and breadth of the dome. "There. Now you can see what I'm referring to. The ecliptic is the line that the sun appears to follow throughout the year. And if you look over there," she says as she directs a beam of light from her wand, "you will see where the ecliptic and the celestial equators cross. That is where we start counting at 0 hours right ascension. Numbers go up as we turn to the east, and each hour stretches 15 degrees of the circle. Then, to find the declination, you determine the degrees of the circle above or below the celestial equator, with objects above the equator having a positive number and those below the equator have a negative number. These measurements give a permanent location coordinate for every object in the sky. However, there is a different system that we'll find much more useful to us for identifying things as they relate to where you are now. The professor flicks her wand again, and another set of lines appear in the dome. This method is called the altitude azimuth system. You start by finding true north, which can be done by using the North Star spell, and then calculating the degrees from true north eastward to the object you are observing. This is called the azimuth. Then all you have to do is figure out the altitude of the object or how far above the horizon it is. An easy way to approximate these degrees is to extend your arm in front of you. And she asked the class to extend their arms in front of them. The width of your fist will cover about 10 degrees. Your little finger is about 1 degree, and you extend your thumb to your little finger is about 25 degrees. Obviously, altitude azimuth coordinates will be different, as different times of night and in different places on Everas. But when all the observers are in the same place, it is an easy way to get everyone to look at the right spot in the sky. And now that we've gotten through the hard part, let's knock out some simpler definitions. You kind of like look around, and some students are dozing off, some students are fighting to stay awake. Her voice is just droning and sleepy, almost as if just being in this room is just like a narcotic. Now, can one define me what an orbit is? And she looks around the room. No one raises their hand, but then Archer raises his. That's the path that things take around other things in space, like the moons around Everas or Everas around the sun. Ah, yes, you've got it. Orbits don't always line up with each other, so you need to know the term inclination. This describes how much one orbit is tilted compared to another. Typically, we compare objects in the solar system to Everas's orbit. You should also know that orbits aren't perfectly circular. They are usually elliptical, and how much an orbit is off from a perfect circle is called eccentricity. When you're observing something that is directly above you, that object is said to be at its zenith. The opposite of the zenith, something that is directly below you on the other side of Everas, is called the nadir. And the line that stretches from north to south through the zenith is called the meridian. Everyone roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 16.
Nat 1.
Oh,
11.
6.
17.
So Ingrid, you fall asleep in this lecture. Head down on the desk. Tired. It's been a long day. Marcella, you two are getting really drowsy. It's hard. Your eyelids feel heavy. It's just a long day. Even though it's your favorite class, it's so interesting to you. But just the way that Professor Astra is so cosmos and celestial, her voice just is so soothing and therapeutic. The other three of you, you're staying awake. Just a couple more terms to finish this section. Parallax is the apparent difference in the position of celestial objects based on the position of the observer. Most objects in the sky are far enough away that their parallax is too small to see from just different points on Everas. But astronomers can make observations about 6 months apart when Everas is on the opposite sides of the sun, and the parallax actually helps them calculate how far away the celestial object is. And finally, an occultation is when one celestial object observes another, like a lunar eclipse, for example. And a conjunction is when two celestial objects appear particularly close to each other. This is usually a planet with a star, or sometimes our moons. The professor takes in a long, deep breath. I know this is long and rather dense lesson, but hang in there. We are almost done. We need to know the terms of measurement used in astronomy before I can let you go to bed. The units of measurement I am going to list are set by the SEA. Can anyone tell me what the SEA is? Eliot raises his hand when no one else does. The SEA is the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. They are generally considered the official body that is allowed to name celestial objects and set international measurements for astronomy. Got it. All in one. Well done, Mr. Spellman. You need to know 3 measurements of distance, time of 2 of time, and 1 of mass. Let's start with time. The official SEA unit for referring to time is the day, which they define as exactly 86,400 seconds. If you need a longer period of time, the SEA defines a year as exactly 365.25 days. Moving on to distance, you have probably heard of an astronomical unit, or AU, before, correct? Okay, good. An AU is the average distance from Everas to the sun, or just under 93 million miles. Another common measure of distance is that of a light year. This is more commonly used in popular media than scientific research, but it is defined as the distance that light can travel in 1 year. Approximately 6 trillion miles. For longer distances, scientists use the parsec, which is 206,000 AU, or about 3.26 light years. And finally, to define mass in astronomy, scientists use the term solar mass. This is the mass of our sun, and it is approximately 1.988 nonillion kilograms. If you rounded that, it would be the number 2, followed by 30 zeros. She sees that her students are yawning again and very sleepy. Well done, all of you, for getting through this lesson, my bright little stars. Don't forget your homework is due by next class. You can pick one up in the classroom below on your way out. Sleep well, my astronomers, and let the stardust fill your eyes with beautiful dreams. Good night.
Well,
Oh,
I'm tired.
that was the
Mara?
driest lecture I've ever sat through.
Mara's going to go over to Professor Astra and kind of like wait patiently and maybe almost knock on the wall, but doesn't.
Oh, hello, dear Miss Tide. What can I do for you?
I had a question about a constellation.
Go on.
The Watcher. What does it mean? Does it mean it just watches you? Or is there a deeper meaning?
The Watcher constellation, if you look at the night sky above, is that one over there. The Watchers were the original creators of a place called the Void. It is where nightmares are formed. Though there are no Watchers that exist on Everas anymore, due to the great sleep that they were put under by Our Lady Goddess Ayuna. They no longer have any worry here for you, my dear. It has been said that a Watcher is that of creature of ailment of darkness, evil incarnate. They are the original nightmares that plague our dreams when we go off to sleep. She pauses.
That seems really scary.
The important thing to remember about the Watcher constellation, that it has been said to be an omen of evil things to come.
Oh, great.
But the also important information of the Watcher is that it only appears once every so often under the day of the black sun. I'm sure you know what that is, but if you don't, I will explain it in very deep detail, my dear. The day of the black sun is when there is an eclipse and the sun turns dark and casts night across Everas as a whole. It is an old wives' tale that has said anyone born under the day of the black sun will bring devastation and great evil to the world. It is also said that parents who bear children on this day drown them in rivers, poison their feed, or leave them to die within the woods where the wolves feast on their flesh and bone, and their wails are heard throughout forests, and eerie calls and creeping chills echo.
Okay. That was all very scary and dark. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much for the clarification of the Watcher.
Of course, my dear. We do not study the Watcher in this class.
That's
We will-
probably a good thing.
If you decide to pursue astronomy beyond your first year, my child, we will dive into deeper topics such as thus. But I see you have a knack for that. The cosmos tell me, dear child, that the stars are aligned for your time here at Wakefield.
Really? Oh, that's
Yes.
cool.
It is important that you are here. And she
That's
stops, and her eyes finally stop glowing. My dear, there is a presence unknown to this school, and it will take the 5 to fix it. And then her eyes glow white again. But off you go to the dreamland and think of the most beautiful of mountains and the deepest of seas. Good night, Miss Tide, until we meet again.
Good night. She scurries back, kind of almost like a haunted look on her face, back to the group. Okay, let's go to sleep. Maybe.
Well, what did she say?
The Watcher is a really evil omen.
Oh,
Did Ingrid wake up yet, or did anyone bother
well,
to
no
wake
one's woken
up?
her up.
Okay.
Evie walks over to Ingrid and taps her on the shoulder and like lightly shakes her and is like, Ingrid, you fell asleep.
She shoots up and she like opens her eyes and looks around, like doesn't really like sees the other students like leaving and like picking like going down to pick up their homework, and she just like takes her sleeve and wipes like a big pile of drool off of her cheek. She's like, oh no.
Doesn't feel good to be the bad student, does it, Ingrid?
You're telling me you stayed awake through that?
I did. I stayed awake through the whole thing, and it was interesting.
Oh,
I mean, actually, that's a lie.
whatever.
It was
I'm
pretty
just
fucking
tired.
boring, but I did stay awake.
I'm just tired because I've been learning all these spells.
Cadence grabs her books and turns around and stomps out.
Ingrid,
Is everyone else-
she's sensitive of that. You don't need to wave it in her face.
I wasn't. Fine.
As you all exit the classroom, Evie is waiting on the outside of the doors to take you to the suite.
Oh, we have to grab our homework. Let's not forget.
Grabs
If
the homework.
Maristella wanted to keep telling her story while we were in the classroom, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify if Ingrid was awake yet for it or not.
It's okay. She'll probably be like, yeah, let's not have nightmares. She just stops. She's just kind of like, oh God. What just happened?
Evie is waiting for you all outside the astronomy tower door. Bye, Astrid. Bye, Daphne. I'll see you guys later. I have to take them to the suite and get them introduced to it. Love you. Bye. Mwah.
Hi, Princess Evie.
Hello, Maristella.
I'm excited to see your chambers.
It is quite interesting, I will say. It's beautiful. They reserve it only for royals who walk the halls of Wakefield, and since I am the only one this year, I have it to myself.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's been quite nice. But if you'd like to follow me, please, I would like to get to bed.
Of course.
Thanks. I need my beauty sleep.
You sure do.
And she takes you all down the stairs, the spiraling circular staircase of the astronomy tower, and you pass through the halls, and you notice that you're not going to the first year dorms.
Ooh. Somewhere new.
You go across campus where students are slowly getting to their rooms, and it's kind of barren now. And she finally takes you up to this royal-looking door, and she passes through it with ease.
I'll try to walk through it the same way we do our own dorm.
Each of you pass through, and then Cadence, as you arrive to it, the door is solid.
You should just walk face first into it.
Evie pops her head out of the door. She goes, "Oh, sorry, I have to welcome all guests." And she pops back in.
Well, are you gonna welcome me?
She pops back out. She goes, "You can try walking through the door now."
Cadence stomps into the room.
As you enter the room, it's this beautiful, ornate looking lounge, this circular kind of castle looking lounge. Beautiful, gorgeous tapestries and curtains all around. You see there's a beautiful, ornate fireplace and a little kitchen area where there's a cauldron sitting on the in the fireplace. It's just beautiful. Very royal. This is the main commons area. I used to use it when I would have parties here, but I guess that will be happening less with more guests. Your rooms are there and there. This is my room. Technically, there's 6 beds, 2 to a room, but I've taken this one as my other one. Someone can have the couch for the 2 weeks because I need sleep without any disturbances. I hope I can make your time here in the royal suite the best can be. But for now, I'm going to bed. Good night.
Night.
Why would she need 2 beds?
Just in case you don't feel like sleeping in one night, you can sleep in a different one, you know?
I still think she's a bitch.
Alright, well, she is in the next room, so maybe be careful what you say. You don't want to get locked out again.
And was the girl who stole the regular size bed when there was clearly a bed specifically for you and made somebody else sleep on the couch?
I apologized and I told her that I would have moved, and I did move. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to be a jerk.
I still think it's a little hypocritical.
Cadence, why don't we take a peek, just, you know, ponder our surroundings and then hit the hay and talk about what we find in the morning.
Yeah, this one's okay to me.
Maeve goes to one of the rooms and she selects a bed. She gets ready for bed and she sits down, pulling out her book she got from the library, and she starts reading it for about an hour before bedtime.
Okay.
Elzie walks around the room looking for anything that might look like a book that would be in the restricted section.
Cadence is just being Snoopy. She's just
So-
nosing through Evelyn's stuff.
Ingrid flops down on the couch.
In the main commons area, it looks like it's been tidied up and neatly. There's no dust or anything like that. It doesn't look like Evie has her stuff in this room, as if she possibly has moved it into her own bedroom.
Finding nothing, Elzie decides to head to her room to go to bed. Good night, guys. I'm super tired. See you in the morning.
Mara's going to go to Ingrid and be like, "Are you sure you want the couch? You can take the bed with Maeve."
I'm good. She kind of like shrugs and she like pulls out her like one of her books and she's like, I was planning on staying up for a minute to study anyway. I took that nap. I think I'm just gonna stay up and I don't want to bother anybody with my light.
You notice that the couch is like so cushiony and full and just like very warm and inviting. It's pretty comfortable.
I'm really good here. This is okay. It's not as uncomfortable as our couches.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need to trade a couple days, if your back hurts, just let me know. We can trade.
Thank you. And she like looks down and starts studying.
Higgins is going to head towards that main living area with the intention of seeing if, she should be the one that sleeps on the couch since she's small and she could technically take Mara's bed in the first day. But when she sees that it's Ingrid, she won't, and she'll just go pick a bed.
Mara will go to the bed probably with Maeve's room, and like pull out one of her own books that she kept on her person and read it.
Okay. Then you all are heading to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that all of your belongings are after you like slip down into the bed, the trunks at the end of it turn into your stuff, and all of your stuff is in it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Magic.
I like magic a lot.
I do too. You know what Eliot told me?
Hmm.
That if you cast Rebellious or Messentia, on a book, it could tell you even more information.
Oh, that's really nifty to actually know.
Yeah. Like, take this for instance, and she casts Rebellious on the book she's currently reading.
What book is she reading?
She was reading the expanded history of the Tanyel Ella.
So as you like open the books, you see like fold outs and pop outs and things extending out from the book as it kind of like hovers in the air. It just like it's almost like an atlas of just like maps and family trees and lineages and just an expansive history of the Tonelia.
See, I have to dive more into this, but it is bedtime. But I thought that was a really cool trick.
That is a really cool trick. And since we're saying secrets, Professor Astra said something kind of funny at the end. She said that there's a dark presence, I think, in the school, and it'll take the 5 of us to fix it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and something about void and nightmares and the day of the black sun. Anyhow, I'm sure it's nothing.
I hope it's nothing. All we can do is keep our head high. But I hope you have sweet dreams.
Me too, especially after that nightmare business.
Yeah. Good
All
night.
right. Good night.
Anybody else want to do anything?
Where's Ingrid's stuff?
There's a trunk next to
Okay.
Cadence will stay up for a few minutes and start to read Spellcasting for Dummies. And as she does, she'll get pretty tired and she tears up a little bit, just feeling like super frustrated with herself and the whole situation and feeling truly like she needs to read Spellcasting for Dummies. And then she'll fall asleep.
Is that it for everybody? Then we will end tonight's episode there.